Welcome to the Hall of Fame, where apparently rock is actually embracing all genres. Hey everyone, Brendan the Blind Guy here, and welcome to the Boombox. Just give me that boom, boom, boom. Just give me that boom, boom. Okay, heaps to chat about today, as there has been a 2-week break. I do apologise, hope you didn't miss me too much. So first up, we're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee nominations, which include the Australian rock icon INXS, which definitely I think should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Also include heavy metal giants Iron Maiden, so yep, definitely Hall of Fame. Also include Oasis. And then you've got Pink, which I don't think should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is really arguable, but I think she's kind of pop rock, but more on the pop side. You know, I don't know. But then you look at, hey, Mariah Carey. How is Mariah Carey Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination? I don't get it. And then Shakira, again, am I in some kind of alternate reality where Mariah Carey and Shakira somehow went full on rock and roll? I mean, that would be pretty epic and a sight to see or hear, but I don't think so. And the cherry on top of the bizarre cake that this is, Wu-Tang Clan. Now, that is absolutely laughable. They are gangster hip hop. It's not rock and roll at even the slightest. So it's kind of like, who is really controlling who gets nominated to be an inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And it's kind of like, maybe the name should be changed from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to just, you know, maybe Music Hall of Fame. What do you reckon? I want to hear your thoughts about it. Okay, so next up, we all know the horrible price of fuel and also availability to fuel has been impacting all around the world and us here in Australia. And as a result, you know, like, people are just like mass hoarding fuel from service stations. Prices are going through the roof like we've never seen before. And it's just going out of control. Even freight, you know, and delivery services are like delayed because of low fuel availability and the cost of it going up. You know, so we know all of that. And you might be wondering, how does this affect the music scene? Well, you gotta kind of think, well, this would also include jet fuel for flights. So we've already witnessed in the past couple of years of how it's becoming harder and harder for international bands to come over to the other side of the world to play in the country that they love so much. But as far as the financial point of view, for them, it's just not doable with the rising expense of everything. Then you add on these intense fuel prices to the struggle as if it wasn't bad enough. I'm really worried about how that's actually going to affect upcoming concert tours. And please, I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think is a really good way for the country and touring promoters and companies to, you know, kind of tackle this head on and keep the live music scene, you know, pumping and keeping strong. Love to hear your thoughts. Okay, moving over to a bit of controversial news. This news is a few weeks old. I do apologize for that. but it is still very much relevant, and I'm talking about the recent Parkway Drive controversy where the brother of drummer Ben, so the brother Jed, who was actually the band's merchandise manager on tour, pled guilty to having sex with a 15-year-old, and the band have admitted that there were warning signs of Jed not being very good with people, and that, you know, they have stepped up and taken moral responsibility, and that they should have seen the red flags sooner and acted a bit more appropriately on it. I think this is really amazing that the band has stepped up and kind of went, look, we are so sorry to our fans that, you know, Jed affected whether Jed had sex with another 15-year-old or 14-year-old, whatever. I think it's very admirable that the band have stepped up and taken a bit of responsibility. However, I do kind of wonder if it really is on the band to take that burden, and if so, how much of that burden. So yes, I do agree that they probably should have, I guess, kind of taken those red flags a little bit more seriously and taken a bit more notice and kind of distanced themselves away from Jed a bit sooner. All that put aside, I do think that it's no point Parkway Drive taking too much blame and responsibility when it was all Jed. The Parkway Drive weren't responsible for Jed and his actions. So I think there's got the bit of balance just to make sure there's not too much negativity towards the band. What do you think? Okay, next up. Red Hot Chili Peppers have made a documentary on Netflix called The Rise of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it is very much paying homage to the original forming guitarist who passed away, I think in the 80s, from an accidental drug overdose. And it's come out that the band and the producers have actually used AI to recreate the guitarist's voice. And there has actually been a lot of controversy on that, as far as, you know, fans and other bands saying, oh, that's disrespectful, you shouldn't use AI to recreate the voice. However, I actually think it's really cool and smart that they've gotten samples of the guy's voice, fed it into AI to make it more full and use it for the whole documentary. So I'm all for it, and I think it works beautifully. However, again, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And also, another controversy thing is that I did mention Wu-Tang Clan before somehow being nominated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Wu-Tang Clan have recently wrapped up their Australia's farewell ensemble tour, I think it was. I didn't follow it too much, but what I did follow was it was supposed to be the farewell concert featuring all remaining living band members. However, 4 of the 7 or 9 or whatever, like over half of those band members weren't actually there. And so many fans were just outraged. Like, of course you would be. You're paying all this money, a lot of people traveling interstate to see this band for the last time performing with original members, and then it's not until they come out on stage and then you go, well, hang on, what about Method Man and what about the other guys and everything? So people were outraged, and Ticketek has offered refunds to ticket holders that are incredibly disappointed if they choose to. And I read something online that Method Man actually did a statement to Rolling Stones magazine that he already said to the promoters before the tour began that he wasn't going to be able to come to Australia and Dubai, that he was already booked. He loves Australia, but a booking's a booking. He can't do it. And then all of a sudden he keeps seeing these posters advertising all original band members that are still alive, and you know, his face on it, and he's like, I told them I can't make it. And you know, the promoters were really pushing for it and making fans believe that they were getting this full experience, and then pulling the curtain and going, surprise, sorry, not actually what you expected. So I think this is really wrong on the promoters and, you know, ticket sales outlets, whatever, whoever's promoting the tour, to advertise it being so much more than it actually is, when they know in the background, they know that not everyone is actually going to be part of the show. So yeah, Method Man was really outlining that it's the promoter that was misleading fans, not the band. They already said that they weren't going to be a part of it. So if you went to the show, I would love to hear your thoughts. Was it still an amazing night, or were you thoroughly disappointed? So yeah, would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, now to wrap all of this up, one of my all-time favorite bands, Muse, they have released a new song and announced that their new album, The Wow Signal, is going to be released on the 26th of June. And fingers crossed, this means that Muse will be returning to Australia either end of this year or next year sometime, because they haven't been out here since December 2017. So I really got my ringed up fingers crossed for that one. And also, Perth iconic prog metal band Carnival finally released a new studio album, the first in I think 16 years, which I covered a couple of months ago or a few weeks ago, sometime recently. They have also in the past few days announced that they will be taking that #1 album on their biggest headline tour yet, their first album tour, full-on tour actually, of any sort in over 10 years, playing at the Hordern Pavilion, Sydney. Now check out the Keen Eye for Concerts website for all of the ticketing info. And until next time, keep a keen eye for concerts and bring on the boom! Just give me that!